She's lying, Dad. She always has. Her words slithered through the air like smoke, twisting around my throat, choking me before I could even breathe. She didn't shout. She didn't cry. She just let the words drip out of her mouth like poison. Her face carried a mask of innocence, wide, shimmering eyes, lips trembling with rehearsed fragility. But I knew better. Behind that facade, she was smiling. And him, my husband, the man I had once thought was my anchor, stood frozen. He didn't come to my defense. He didn't ask questions. He just stared at me, his eyes hard, his jaw clenched, as if he had been waiting for this moment, waiting for proof that I was the villain in his perfect little world. That was the moment I realized betrayal doesn't come from enemies. It comes from the people who promise to love you forever and then hand your heart to someone else. My name is Elena, and this is the story of how I lost everything in one night, only to take it all back and more. I had been married to him for 10 years. 10 years of loyalty, of building a life brick by brick, of staying when things were falling apart. 10 years of sacrifices no one saw, sacrifices his daughter never knew about, and yet all it took was her whisper, her crocodile tears, and he turned against me without hesitation. I remember that night in painful detail. The living room light was too bright. Every shadow thrown against the wall looked like an accusation. His voice was flat, controlled, almost rehearsed. "Elena, pack your things. I can't do this anymore." My heart dropped. "What are you saying? You're ending our marriage because of her?" He didn't flinch. He didn't look at me. His eyes stayed fixed on his daughter, the girl curled up on the sofa with her head tilted, her lips twitching in that almost smile she thought I couldn't see. "You believe her?" I whispered, my voice cracking. He finally looked at me then, but there was no love in his eyes, no doubt either, just judgment. Silence pressed in around me, silence that screamed louder than words ever could. I packed. I folded every sweater with trembling hands, every piece of fabric feeling heavier than the last. Every shoe that went into the suitcase felt like betrayal stitched into leather. I moved like a ghost, not daring to break the silence, not daring to hope for him to stop me. He didn't. And when I stepped outside, the night air cut into my skin like knives. Behind me, the door slammed shut, and faintly, just faintly, I heard it. Her laugh, a soft, victorious chuckle that echoed through the glass. That sound etched itself into me. That sound was my turning point. The first week was unbearable. I slept in my friend's spare room, staring at the ceiling every night, replaying every word, every look, every memory. My phone stayed dark. No calls, no apologies, no explanations. Instead, the only light that reached me was through social media, his daughter's posts dripping with venom. "Some women never learn their place. Daddy always chooses me." It broke me. For a moment, it really did. But pain doesn't just destroy, it reshapes you. By the second week, something inside me hardened. The Elena who begged, who cried, who prayed for his love to return, she was gone. In her place stood someone colder, someone sharper, someone who wasn't going to be erased quietly. That's when I opened the box. You see, I had kept everything, every receipt, every contract, every signed document, proof that I hadn't just been his wife, I had been his partner, his investor, his backbone. Without me, his business would never have survived its fragile early years. Without me, there would be no house, no empire, and no illusion of control. He thought I was just a woman he could throw away. He forgot I was the foundation, and foundations, when shaken, bring everything crashing down. 3 weeks after that night, he showed up. He stood on my friend's doorstep, his shoulders slouched, his eyes carrying guilt. He looked smaller, less certain. He mumbled something about reflecting, about mistakes, about maybe finding a way back. "Elena," he said softly, "maybe it's time we both apologize. Come home." I smiled, calm, cold, and handed him an envelope. Divorce papers. His face drained of color, his hands trembled as he opened it. "Elena, this is ridiculous. You don't have to do this. We can fix this." I leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. "You believed her lies without asking me once. You threw me out like trash, and now you want me to crawl back?" His voice rose, desperate. "She's my daughter. What was I supposed to do? Ignore her?" That single sentence cut deeper than any knife. But instead of pain, it brought clarity. I was never his choice. I was never his equal. I was temporary. And then she appeared. Right on cue. His daughter, standing behind him, smug and venomous. Good. Finally, she's gone for good. She was always jealous of me anyway. Her words didn't sting anymore. They fueled me. "You'll regret this," I whispered, and shut the door in both their faces. What they didn't know was that I had already begun. I met with my lawyer, an old friend who needed no convincing. We spent hours piecing together every detail: the house, the investments, the accounts, the business. Line by line, signature by signature, we built my case. And when the summons hit him, it was like a storm. His calls turned frantic. His texts turned desperate. He even came to my workplace begging to talk. I ignored him all. He had lost the right to my voice. The court hearings were brutal, at least for him. He walked in tall the first day, arrogance in every step. But as my lawyer unveiled the receipts, the contracts, the bank transfers, his confidence began to crumble. His voice faltered, his eyes darted, sweat beaded on his forehead. And she, his daughter, sat in the back of the courtroom, her glare burning holes into me. She wanted me to see her hatred, but all I saw was fear. Fear masked as defiance. The turning point came when my lawyer asked, "Did you or did you not remove your wife from the marital home without any proof of wrongdoing?" He stammered. He tried to look at her, but the judge stopped him. "Answer the questions, sir." He couldn't. That was the day his mask slipped for good. By the end, the judge ruled in my favor. Half the assets, recognition of my stake in the company, the freedom he thought he could deny me. But the sweetest part wasn't the victory in court. It was what happened after, because their alliance began to crumble. Neighbors whispered about screaming matches in the middle of the night. Friends told me about slammed doors, broken glass, words thrown like knives. He blamed her for lying. She blamed him for being weak. The perfect father-daughter duo that once exiled me from my home was tearing each other apart. And I stayed silent. I didn't need to interfere. They were destroying each other beautifully. But I wasn't done. I took my share of the business and transferred it into a trust, a fund dedicated to women like me, abandoned, silenced, underestimated. Every dollar I used carried his name, a reminder carved into stone of what betrayal cost him. When he found out, he erupted. He screamed at her, accused her of pushing me this far. She screamed back, blaming him for everything. Their wars spilled into the public, and the world saw what I had always known. They weren't strong, they were parasites beating on each other. Me? I stood on the balcony of my new apartment, the city lights stretching before me, the night air cool against my skin. I hadn't just left him. I had rewritten the ending. He lost his house. His company faltered without me. His daughter left, furious when the money dried up. And he, alone, bitter, broken. And me, free, stronger, untouchable. Because revenge isn't always fire. It doesn't need to scream. It doesn't need to burn. Sometimes the cold silence of your success is enough to haunt them forever. And that was my revenge.